Bentornati and welcome back. My name is Åsa Tomeus and together with my family I am the owner of MonteRosola Wine Estate. This is my dear friend and colleague Daniel.
Buongiorno.
In the previous episodes we took you through the 4 basic steps of wine tasting. Today we're continuing with trying our Crescendo 2015 using these steps.
Salute.
Salute!
So, today we are trying our Crescendo 2015. It's 100% Sangiovese, coming from old vines. A little bit about the vintage. 2015 probably considered to be one of the top vintages in a few decades. So it was a brilliant year for us and for many producers in Tuscany. The harvest was done in September 2015. 4 different steps of strict selectation. We bring the grapes into the winery. We give the grapes a gentle crush before we gravity feed them down to the concrete vats. In the concrete vats, the fermentation process starts. We use only natural yeast. During the fermentation, we keep the skins for them to macerate to give the wine a proper color and structure. After the fermentation process, we separate the skins from the juice and the malolactic fermentation starts. So basically converting the malic acid in the wine into lactic acid, which is a little softer. After the malolactic fermentation, we move the wine from the concrete vats into the oak barrels. So we use French barriques. New and used oak sits there for 15 months and we end up having this amazing wine, Crescendo 2015.
So, starting with our visual inspection and looking at the color, I would call this like a deep garnet color, indicating the slightly aged vintage of wine.
Absolutely, and I agree. I think it's quite deep in the color, which is fairly rare when it comes to 100% Sangiovese. Normally you will find it a little bit more pale. In our situation, we have an extended growing season because of the climate. We're situated 430 meters above sea level, cooler climate, a little bit more windy, cools down the grapes, doesn't really rush the growing season, so it's extended, gives the grapes more time to develop the color of the skins, and the final product end up being a little bit more deep in the color. Looking at the viscosity of this wine, what do you think? Is I would say it's a
medium plus,
yeah,
somewhere, a little more than the Mastio. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, continuing with the nose of the wine. And fruit-wise, I think we find a lot of red fruits here, some red cherries, some ripe strawberries, but also a lot of herbs. Definitely some dried thyme.
Yeah, I mean this wine is just, it's so complex. It's so many layers. When you nose this wine, the dried herbs really hits you. You find lots of black tea. Obviously, since the wine is aged in oak for 15 months, you find the toasted notes like sweet tobacco, some leather notes. You can find some dark chocolate. There's some sweet licorice. Just
List continues.
yeah, it's just never stops.
So, moving on, tasting the wine. It's a completely dry wine. no residual sugar left. I think for being a 5-year-old wine, it's got some really nice acidity to it, very alive and kicking that you feel like on the side of your tongue here. It's just still very youthful.
Yeah,
I would say.
It's the acidity is beautiful. Talking about the structure, the body of the wine, I would say is like a medium body.
Yes.
You have these very smooth tannins being present, but just very well balanced. You have the intensity, you have the tannins of the wine, but yet it's quite elegant. For me, that's a perfect combination. Talking about the flavors, the taste of this wine.
I think we have about the same as we had on the nose.
Yeah.
We have the red fruits, the cherries,
dried herbs, black tea.
The sweet licorice, the toasted notes.
Yeah.
And also some dark chocolate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the length of this wine is just truly amazing. Very complex, sticks on for a long time, and also balanced throughout the whole finish. So, just a superb.
So, to sum this up, our Crescendo 2015, it's really one of MonteRosola's signature wine. It is extremely complex, very food friendly. It's the kind of wine you would sit outside with your friends on the terrace and enjoy for hours.
Yeah, and as you say, preferably with food. This is the perfect combination with classic Tuscan flavors like sausages with fennels and dried herbs, or why not just a classic wild boar ragu. It's just a perfect combination. Well, thank you very much, Åsa. Thank you for joining us today. There's more videos to come, and until then, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Salute.